Okay. So let us start with an automation part. So could you please explain me? So any of you or one by one you can explain that what is the structure of your framework and how your framework looks like.
Currently, I am performing a Cucumber BDD framework with Maven management tool. Um, um, in Maven, it has an test source main Java and source main resources and source test Java, source test resources. Um, the reusable files and reusable files are maintaining in a source main Java and source main resources. Um, and the test case and coding
So
part.
what are the reusable files that you have created?
I have created helper clauses like form page object model uh, classes and mm,
Could you
brow-
specify me like you have told that you have created the reusable classes, right? So for example, if we take a browser invocation, it is considered as an one of an reusable class. So likewise, how you have created the reusable class? So either you have created the page wise or the functionality wise.
I have created in functionality wise.
Okay, so the functionality wise in the sense, so like what is the type of application that you're working on?
E-commerce website.
Okay, e-commerce. So how you have categorized this functionality and how you have created this reusable file?
Uh,
Silent writing, yeah.
uh, I categorized in browser invocations and
So always don't mention
drop
this
down.
browser invocation. So you can tell like in e-commerce, so you'll be having different screens. So whatever the actions or whatever the fields that are present in a particular screen, so we have created the reusable file in the screen wise. So for example, if we need to call out the login page and whatever the steps that we needed for an login, so we have created in the reusable file. And similar to that, like for ad card or for the payment processing, so we have a number of reusable files. So based upon our scenario, so if we need to pause on the screen number 1 and 2, so we'll be calling the reusable functions which we have created for this screen 1 and 2. So likewise, screen wise we have differentiated the functionality. So you can mention like this. So like if we take in particular screen one, so if we have an multiple options like the selecting of an searching of an required product. So for searching of the required product, we have some reusable class file, and using the constructor, so we used to call the respective, or what we can say is like, so using the constructor, so we will be initializing the reusable classes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So once you have completed the execution, right? So how you guys will extract the report, and how will you share the report to the stakeholders, or how will you generate the test evidence, and how are you guys are storing the automation test evidences
We are using
Reading
oh,
using?
sorry. We are using a trainer with a tag for
Cucumber.
uh,
That art run with is used for running, right? So my question is
running.
like how you are generating the reports.
By
We are
using the
we are
uh,
pretty keyword
plugin like
like
So
by
what is that
using
plugin?
pretty.
the plugin which are we use to create a report is Pretty.
So by
So we
using
can
the keyword called as an plugin, so under which as a plugin is of a string array, so using that we can generate an multiple reports like HTML report or JSON report or JUnit report. And before that we will be using the keyword called as an pretty. So the reason why we are using the pretty keyword is like so it will add on some beautification to our console reporter. So like it will exclude the special notation, and it will be print the report in a human editable form, and we have some more defaults like JUnit, JSON or HTML. So basically the HTML will be of an most readable report. So in a particular user story, so basically we used to attach the HTML reports as the test evidence, as it is often quite readable one. Okay. So what is the need of tags in Cucumber? Or how, or what I can say is like how will you run the group of test case in the Cucumber?
We are using an test shoots like the tag
Mm.
uh,
So
under one tag to perform a group of testing
okay, so we'll be creating some tags. So for
tags.
example, in our project,
Or,
we have an tag. So whenever you are saying something, right? So have this as an example. So we have an different tags like regression suit 1 and regression suit 2. So the regression suit 1 will trigger the basic functionalities, whereas the for the payment scenario, so we have used the tags called as a regression payments. Likewise, you can you can create your own tag and you can highlight something. Okay, so now consider an example. So in a particular page, so you are having close to 5 buttons. So I need to click on the button which is available at the bottommost page of DOM structure. But the thing is like each and every button is having an same attribute and same attribute value. So in this case, so how will you click on the lost button?
We have to we have to create a web element for that particular.
So even if you create a web element, the line, the node, that which means the attributes are same. So if even if you create a web element, it will show me a 5 of 5 results.
Okay,
I'm
we have to
using
transfer.
attribute value.
We have to use the XPath access to find the one of one result.
mm,
So ignore the export
Some
we are
access.
I'm using a attribute value to click on the button.
So but the attribute and attribute values are same, right?
Attribute. Okay.
So we have the 5 buttons. So if I write some edge path, it's showing me the 5 of 5 result. Ignore about the edge path access path. So here the restriction is like you should not use edge path access. How will you handle it?
by we, we have to mm,
Are you guys aware of the concept of collections?
could you please
I,
be repeat?
yeah,
Do you aware
yeah,
of the
I,
collection concept?
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, what are there in collections?
Collections list is set
List
and
map
map.
set.
So
Uh,
list, set, and map,
yes.
right? So basically, what happens is like the list will allow the duplicate value and set won't allow the duplicate value, and map is something different, which follows the key to value pair. So why can't you store in the specific list, and you can iterate the index of list and you can click on the specific button, right? So there is an option called as an if we so just you are storing everything in an list. So which means the list will contain and 5 web elements. So if you need to click on the fifth web element, so what you can do is you can simply use the call the method called as an get. So how you used to add the elements in list is like using add method. So similar to that, if you need to get the specified value from the list, you can use the get method, and you can pass the specified index value. So for example, if it is of an fifth button, you can pass it as an fifth index and you can provide the dot click operation. So these are the simplest way. Okay. Okay, so could you explain how you have handled the window handling in your project?
Using window handles. I switch to window handle.
Switch to window handles, that is the correct code.
Using window handles method to get the window properties and the switch to method you used to change the windows.
So we have some certain tools, but no one is using the tool now. So if they have asked the tool, you can mention. Even I have forgot the tool, the Hexawise. So there was some tools like Hexawise and ALM. So these are the tools they will be used for designing the manual test cases. So and you can just refer it how the Hexawise look like. So what is the advantage of Hexawise is like, if you are need to test something, so you need to provide the main parameters. So the main parameters in the sense, so what are the things that you are going to validate, and it will automatically create some suggestions. But even if you are using Hexawise or whatever the tool, so as a manual tester, so we need to manually type the test design steps. So there is no, like what we can say is like, there is no specific advantage of using the test design tool. So the test design tool will become more effective when is like, for example, the application that you are going to deal with this of an multiple users or with the multiple currencies. So now let's take an example that you are going to working on some application. So like, you have an tie up with the three agencies, like agency 1, agency 2, agency 3. So whenever there is a specific functionality, so you need to test all three with all three agencies. So you need to test the same functionality with agency 1, and you need to test with the agency 2, and also we need to test with the agency 3. And here, when I test with this three agency, I need to use five different types of currencies. So which means, if we return in manual way, we could not able to get the combinations correctly. But when we feed this data in the test design tool, like we can feed the data like we have three agencies, agency 1, agency 2, agency 3, and we have five currency. So and if we feed, what happens is, so it will be automatically generate the combination. So it will be generate close to 30 test cases. So only at the high level it will be generating the test cases, and we need to manually add the test design steps. Okay. Okay, so what is the difference between the get and the navigate method?
Get method to
But if you have to,
navigate the one page to another page. But navigate method used to it performs as an backward and forward and refresh.
Okay, so using the get method, so we can just launch the respective URL, but whereas in the navigate method, we can perform in multiple actions, like either we can refresh the particular page and we can move forward and backward, and using the two method, we can pass the required URL. Okay, so explain me the synchronization in Selenium. So the synchronization is nothing but the times out are called as synchronization. So explain the waits, so which is nothing but the waits.
there are three types of weights in Selenium, which is implicit, explicit, and fluent weight.
Okay.
So implicit weight is global weight. Implicit weight is called as a global weight. So if we introduce the implicit weight, uh, we can run thousands of codes. So in explicit weight, it is like
Explicit weight is an expected condition weight. We assigned an explicit weight in a particular web element or a particular element. It performs when the web element met the expected conditions. That will wait. And if you wait, it has an
So 1 minute. So whenever you are explaining something, right? So always have the coding as an example. So but even I'm not satisfied with the answer of an implicit weight. So just what I can understand is like it's a kind of an theoretical lecture. So that you are telling like so it's an global weight term. So that is fine. So we can just tell like so okay, implicit weight is nothing but it's of an global weight term or common weight term. So and it will be so if we define once, so it will be applied to the all lines of code. So but you are giving the generic statement like 100 line and 1000 line. So what the interviewer will think, and also you are not telling that how we are going to implement this implicit weight. So how we are implementing the implicit weight in our code. So driver dot manage dot times out dot implicit weight, in which we will be defining the time using the class called as an duration, and we'll based upon our need we can use on different methods like off second or off minutes. So we need to tell the coding part. So that will increase the confidence. And also when you're telling about the explicit weight, so the explicit weight is nothing but it will be applying to the specific condition. So the explicit weight is handled either using the thread dot sleep or by the using the WebDriver weight. So you guys are not highlighting the class called as an WebDriver weight. So in this WebDriver weight we have a method called as an until. So where we pass the accepted conditions, and we'll be checking for the presence of elements or whatever based upon our need. So we'll be customizing that. So and also you need to tell the difference. What is the difference between the thread dot sleep and the WebDriver weight? So the thread dot sleep is like so when we use the thread dot sleep, it will halt the execution. So halt the execution in the sense, if I provide the timer a time of 30 seconds, so it will hold the time. It will stop the execution for 30 seconds. Whereas even in the WebDriver wait, so we will be providing the duration of seconds and 30 seconds. So it will wait for 30 seconds. The only difference is like after 30 seconds it will check for the condition. But so to overcome this issue, we are introducing the concept called as an fluent wait. So the fluent wait is nothing but so we are setting up an frequency. Though the frequency is nothing but it's of an polling time. So we'll be using the method called as an polling out. So where we'll be setting the frequency. So what happen is like so during that particular frequency, so like for example the maximum wait time is of 20 seconds, and I have set the frequency, that is polling time of 5 seconds. So for each and every 5 seconds, so it will be checked for the presence of element. If the particular element is visible in an first 5 seconds, so it won't wait for the remaining 20 second, and my execution will begins. So and also if the element doesn't find in the first 5 seconds again, it will be wait for one more 5 seconds, and it will be checking the time at 10 seconds. So during that time, we might have a chance of throwing an exception. So like no such element exception. So whenever we are introducing the implicit wait, say explicit wait, so we will be using that method called as an ignoring. So in this ignoring, so we will be providing the exception which we need to ignore. So like is given detailed way. Okay.
Okay, bro.
Okay. So what is the difference between find element and the find elements?
Find element in which is used to find the in but
Find element which is used element, find elements which is used to uh, like, find the multiple web elements in the node.
Which means
find
all
element is
matching elements.
all match elements and first matching elements.
Okay.
Find element is first matching elements, and find elements are all matching elements.
So could you explain me what is polymorphism and how you have implemented the polymorphism concept in your code?
Mm,
Polymorphism contains two
Mm.
methods, which is method overloading and method overriding. So method overloading means uh, creating within a same class.
Okay.
So, mm, method overriding means created within two classes.
Hmm. So like be clear in the answer. So like the polymorphism. So what is the need of polymorphism? The polymorphism is nothing but, so we're going to create an one thing so which should access the many things. So in the polymorphism we have in two types. So one is of a method overloading and another is of an method overloading. So overriding. So overloading applies in the same class, whereas overriding applies in the different class. So the reason why they have introduced the concept of overloading is like so we can create some reusable methods. So reusable methods in the sense, so the first rule of the overloading is like, so the method name should be common. So by creating the common method name, so what happen is like, so we are saving up the memory allocation. So how we are differentiating the method is like, either by means of pausing the different data types or by the number of arguments. So for example, if we take an our code as an example, so if we, let's take an example of assertion. So in assertion we have an multiple methods, like whether we can have the assert true, what we can say, like what I can say is like, so we are having some assert equals. So if we take this assert equals as an example, so using the assert equals, so either we can compare the two strings, or either we can compare the integer, or either we can compare the decimal values or the double values. So what happened here is like, so the assert equals will act as an overloading. So based upon the parameter which the user passes, it overloads the other methods and it will be begins to execute. So likewise, the overriding in the sense, it will deals with different methods. So different methods in the sense, let's take an example like, I'm having the two classes, so class A and the class B, and what I'm doing is like, I'm inheriting the one class to other class. So the class A extends of the class B. So the inheritance directly implies the class B will have the knowledge of class A as well. So now consider an example. So we have the same method name in class A and class B. So if we take the example, the class A has the method m1 and class 2 has the method m1. So I'm calling out, I'm creating an object for the class um, class B. So what technically it means like, so the class B will have the knowledge of class A as well. So now what happen is like, the overriding concept applies. So it will overload the method present in the class A and will execute the method present in the class B. So likewise, you can just explain it up.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What is the constructor? What is mean by constructor, and what is the need of constructor?
To initialize, constructor is used to initialize the object. There are two different types of constructor. One is an default constructor, another one is an parameterized constructor. Default constructor is nothing but whenever the object is created, it invoke initialize it initialize default. This is called as a default constructor. Parameterized constructor, it means to we specify the parameters within the constructor is called a parameterized constructor.
Okay, so more or less it is often good. Like basically the constructor used to for an initialization. So whenever an object is created, it will check for the constructor. If the constructor is available, it will execute the available constructor. So if not, at the backend, it will be creating an default constructor. So like in our project, like whenever we are using the reusable method, so we are calling out the reusable methods with the help of the constructor. So like you can add some example statement as well. Okay. So what is the difference between the scenario and the scenario outline?
The test scenario is a high level
Level
function.
functionality of an application.
A scenario
My question is, what is the difference between scenario and the scenario outline?
scenario. So just the data itself and just hide our functionality of the application only.
No. So the scenario used to execute only once, whereas the scenario outline will execute
User
based
names.
upon the examples that we have provided. That is based upon the data table. So how we have parameterized the values in the data table. So if we have an 5 set of values in the data table, so the test case will execute for the 5 times with a different set of data, whereas the scenario will execute with the single set of data. Okay, so whenever if someone is asking the question, what is the difference between scenario and scenario outline, which means they are asking the question in the Cucumber BDD. Okay, so what is the need of background keyword?
Background keyword used to um, preconditions. We define the preconditions. Uh,
Hmm. Okay, so
Preconditions,
we
example preconditions like browser invocations and um, user logins and these.
hmm. Okay, so like we can define the uh, precondition. So the precondition in the sense, so always don't mention only the browser invocation, or what you can add some additional point is like, so we'll be printing the timestamp. So timestamp in the sense when the execution will begins. So and afterwards, so this is some new concept I will explain. I'm going to teach for the students tomorrow. So probably after the session, let me share the videos of Jenkins as well as the report generation part. So I will be adding few more additional points, so which I have not covered to you guys. Okay, suppose that you could be able to answer it. Okay. Now, so consider an example. I'm having list one and the list two. So I need to create a list three where I need to include the values of list one and list two. I need to just add the values of list one and list two inside the list three. How will you do this?
Using the constants map concept
Why should you go for a map?
to
Whether
map the
we are affirming the um, key to value per concept, not right. So I'm just having two different lists. Instead of having two different lists, I need to make a single list. For example, list one it is having 1 2 3 4, and list two it is having 5 6 7 8. But I need an output like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. How will you do this? Okay. So how will you find the duplicate number or duplicate string value in the list? So I need an answer for this all question when I schedule an mock interview either by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay. So how will you find the duplicate elements in the list?
Repeated numbers.
How logic? I need a logic. So like consider the list one have the name as Nadraj Surender and Aravind. So my name is repeated twice. So I need to find what is the duplicate word which is stored in the list. So the output should come as an Aravind. How will you find that? What is the logic? Okay. So how will you find the second maximum number in a list? So in the list one, I'm having some input like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I need to find the second maximum number. So second maximum number in the sense, obviously it indicates the 7. So how will you find this? I need a logic for this as well. Okay, and how will you take the screenshot?
using take screenshot method is say having a default method which is called as take screenshot.
Okay, so is it possible to add the required screenshot in the Cucumber report?
Mm,
Yes, it is possible. So for this also, I will be sharing the required video. So just refer it. Okay, so it's going. It will be of my lecture, so that you can you can understand easily. So either within this week, I will be sharing this. Okay. Okay. What is the Cucumber version that you are using?
I'm using for Cucumber 3.
Cucumber
Do you?
7.8.1.
So the latest version is 7 point something. So you always be aware. I think 7.10 is the latest version of Cucumber. Always be aware what is the version that you are using for the Cucumber and what is the Selenium version you are using and what is the Java version that you are using. Okay. Okay. How will you find if whether a particular field is enabled or disabled?
It's an a default method is called is enabled in the session.
Okay. What in case if the is enabled method is not working?
It shows an false. False
It will show false. So in your condition, right, the is enable method won't work. So you can't use the is enable method. What is the alternative way of checking whether the field is enabled or disabled? I think I have told some concept called as an get attribute. So basically, if there is a if enable or disable condition, there will be some change in the DOM structure. So we need to identify what's the change. So for example, the change in DOM structure will be in the change in attribute value. So you can catch that attribute value with a method called as an get attribute. So and post that you can use the assertion and you can validate it. Okay, so if you are not aware, let me know. I will share the code for this. Okay, so even whatever the question which I have asked is often very basic, so still there are many some advanced level of questions available. So we should prepare ourselves to face the worst condition. So if we attend in this way, right, so it will not gave the confidence to them. So whatever the information that your guys are telling, right, so be in a crystal clear way and also speak with the confidence, so there should not be any lag. So if there is a lag, uh, it will not gives that much confidence to the introvert. So it will of it's kind of a bad impression. But on also, whenever you are telling something, try to add some example. So example in the sense whatever we have seen in the training, you can relate that example and you can tell that I face this issue in my application in real time, right? Whenever a person is interviewing, he will not aware of what type of application that you are using. So whatever you are saying, so he need to trust that. So your answer should be in that way. Okay. And also apart from that, right, so if you look at our manual Jira board, I have added a number of projects. I guess for e-commerce or healthcare, I have added some more projects. So just to go and have a look in a Jira board. So there are close to, I guess, I have added close to 15 projects. So just to have a look and just look at the points, what is there mentioned in the e-commerce or whatever the domain that you have added. And in case if you need to add any other one more domain, so please feel free to add. So there is nothing wrong in having a three project, or what you can say is like you can have a minimum of three project in your resume. So whenever from today, from tomorrow, so whatever the companies that you are going to apply, so apply with the updated resume, add from some more project as well. So I have so many projects. So what you can do is like you can add this billing systems, or you can add the telecom, etc. So always don't stick with this e-commerce. So show them in a different way. So that project them that you have worked in different domains. So whenever if someone is asking an introduction about tell about yourself, so highlight that these are the domains I have worked. I have worked in the various domains. So it will also give a confidence to us. So like if we mention in a single domain, so it will not create trustworthy. So like they might think okay, we might they might thought whether we have worked or not. Okay, so try to add one more project. So everything is loaded in a Jira board, and if you look on the Jira board, I have added the notes as well. So just refer everything and prepare accordingly. Okay, so probably on today's it's Monday, so I'll be giving a date time. So on Wednesday, let me plan for another one mock interview. So before that, be prepared everything. Okay. Okay, fine. So if you guys stuck with any points, so please let me know. Just drop me a message. I will be providing the necessary notes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so one and only after attending the multiple mock interviews, you will get to know how to present in the real time interview.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for your time.